double digits again against Kansas State, third straight game for her. Just what has just been so rewarding about seeing her immediate growth this year put into that starting role and seeing it really kind of pay off right away?
I think probably the most impressive, that was the word, impressive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the most impressive piece for me is the consistency piece of it, right? I think there can be a lot of excitement in any new role that you take, and then you can kind of maybe start to decline if things don't go your way or whatever. But she's, faced adversity at different points. Maybe, she didn't feel like the shots were going in, or, maybe someone picked her pocket or something like that. And then the past that could maybe have impacted her in a way that she wouldn't be able to bounce back. But I think the confidence or resiliency, but really that consistency piece is really what I think is most impressive. And you come to expect those things from her now. So, you get to 3 games, it's not a fluke. And now the expectation, and it also becomes, how people are preparing for you on scouting reports.
Mm-hmm. What do you kind of attribute that just kind of more confidence to? Just, I think you hinted at it. It started in Italy. Is there one thing that you attribute it to in terms of just like a flip the switch thing, or any specific moment for her?
I think it's the idea that you put in the time and the effort to prepare yourself. And we talk to them a lot about, we get our confidence, everyone gets their confidence from preparation, and the more prepared you feel. And so I think she realizes she's put a lot of time and effort in the weight room, and she's put a lot of time and effort in the gym and working on her game. And so, when you start to see results of that physically manifest in practice, then you're gaining that kind of confidence. And then I think any coach will tell you, when a player thinks that you believe in them, that gives them confidence too. And I think, I've given her praise in a lot of different ways, and what I think and how integral she is to our success. And I think that helps you, feel like, I want to keep going. I want to keep doing things well.
Yeah. That game she had a double-double against Western, I think someone of her size, you probably wouldn't imagine it's with rebounds. Would fearless kind of be a word that you would use to describe her, just being just 5'4", and her kind of not being afraid to go up for a rebound and battle the way that she does?
Yeah, I think fearless. I think she's, also gutsy. She's gritty. She's all those things. Like, she wants to win really badly, and if that means she has to get 13 rebounds for us to win, then, she's willing to do that. I think, there is a fearlessness about her. I think even the other night in our K-State game, right? The majority of their guards were significantly taller than she was, and she didn't back down to that challenge, and I think used what she has, which is her quickness, to her advantage.
Mm-hmm. Suffered a first loss against the Wildcats. Just how key is just trying to bounce back with these 2 games in Florida, and just trying to find that immediate answer for this program?
Yeah, I think, as I told our players in the locker room, like, one game doesn't define your season. There's a lot of teams who would love to go undefeated the entire year, and that's not everyone's story. Most of the time, it's not hardly anyone's story. I think we'll get to, January, and that's when people start tallying, like, still undefeated,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like the watch or when they're going to lose. And I think that what I also tried to reiterate to them is, this is what the non-conference is for. It's for us to be put into, difficult environments. It's for us to play against teams that play different styles. It's all in preparation for Big Ten, and for you to get ready for your conference play. And that we've got opportunity now to go to Florida and not just bounce back, but have, another challenge and a completely different team, right? I don't think a team could be actually more different than what we're playing, right? You've got K-State. Now they run a little bit of dribble drive stuff, K-State does, but they've got a really dynamic post player inside, whereas Arkansas is their guard play and transition, and their pace of play is really about getting up and down and getting as many possessions as they can. And so I think it's for our kids also understanding how do you switch gears now and prepare for a different style. Another road game, not necessarily a true road game in that you're at a neutral site, but I think all those types of environments are really important for us to have, especially with the younger group.
Is there any one big area where you're looking for improvement from that loss on Sunday? I think the big thing that stands out is just kind of the slow start first and second half.
For me, honestly, comes to offensive execution. I was quite pleased with our defense, especially, Sarah only having one foul in the game. And I thought for the most part, we were able to contain them, obviously giving up 11 threes. But in the beginning of the game, we held them to 35 points at the half. I thought, that's pretty good, but us only having 25 points, that's really, I think, was the key. And you can't go 2 quarters and score 9 points, and then we beat them in the other 2 quarters. So if you even play even, that's a totally different game. And, the slow starts don't help, but I think it's also making sure that we're executing, that we kind of are able to really hone in on what it is that we're trying to get out of our offenses and how we can put everybody in positions to be successful.
Yeah. Any sort of update that you can provide on Hallie and Lily? I know being at the first 3 home games, they haven't played. Is there any sort of timetable that you have and are able to share in terms of when they might hit the floor?
I don't have a timetable that I can share, but they're both progressing really nicely. We're excited about, their eventual return here this season, but don't have any specific timeline just yet.
Do you have a specific injury that you can share when it comes to Lily? I know Hallie was obviously her ACL. Is Lily leg, arm, anything specific that you can name?
No, but
Okay.
It's nothing that is, season ending or anything like that.
Okay. You guys have played a ton of players. I think 10. I think all the freshmen have really kind of hit the floor. Just how key has it been in your mind to just kind of distribute the playing time early on and allowing those new players to get as much time as they have?
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about in the past, we played a little bit of a shorter bench and, trying to get our younger players exposed earlier in the season because of it is such a long season that if they are getting that experience earlier on, that once we do get into conference play, that it won't be such a new experience for them to hit the floor. And at the same time, it's making sure that we have a good rhythm and our rotation is such that it's effective for the team. So I think there's been a little bit, obviously if you're up in games or you're down in games, you're looking to try to see if you can give people some experience, some minutes in different ways. And so excited about the prospect of we've got talent on our bench now, figuring out how can we get that to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a question? I didn't want to repeat any question that might have gone out there. I guess unrelated to your next opponent, I was kind of curious about the possibility of playing Marquette. And, it's been a few years since. Did you talk about this?
We did not talk about this.
Okay. It's been a few years since that's happened. I guess I want to kind of get your thoughts on the possibility of trying to make that a regular thing like we see on the men's side.
Mm-hmm. I'd be very much open to it, and so I think that's something that's been discussed, and I think that we have an opportunity, obviously, to match up with them. I think anytime you can get any type of in-state rivalry type of, going on is always exciting for fans of both places. And, I think for us, we are trying to do, one game at a time. So as much as that's a possibility, it's also, possibility to play BC. If, they win, we win. and Arkansas comes first. And so I think Megan's done, a great job at Marquette, and I would really, welcome the opportunity to play them.
Yeah, and I'm curious, has it gotten to the point, like, have the staffs communicated about making it a possibility? Has it reached that point in terms of Wisconsin and Marquette possibly down the road?
I think we definitely have reached out and have talked about some different dates. I just think it has not come to fruition yet, but I think it's something that's still in discussion and would be very much open to doing.
Okay. And then along those same lines, I was curious, you don't have Green Bay on the schedule this year, but you had Milwaukee, and I'm just curious, what's kind of the future look like with those two series? Is it like an every other year thing, or what's kind of the next?
No, we had talked about playing Green Bay this year, just the dates didn't work out that we had. But I think, again, being able to play in state schools. So I know that we've extended the Milwaukee series. I know we were talking about looking at Green Bay series again. So it's not a situation where it's like we play 3 years and then we take a year off or anything like that. Everybody has, and it'll be a little bit even more potentially condensed now with adding the 4 new schools to the Big Ten. So we're all a little bit of a holding pattern, at least at the Big Ten level, but obviously with all the conference realignments, because your non-conference calendar gets crunched a bit more. And so it's really a puzzle piece type of thing. And people are, holding off dates, trying to keep dates. Scheduling has, it just kind of continues to be a little bit of a wait and see, where we've not gotten any updates thus far, about where that's headed. But we obviously know that there's four new schools coming, and so there's a lot of different models of what that could look like.
Yeah. And one other scheduling thing with Milwaukee, was it extended like a 5-year?
I think we did. I think we extended. Don't quote me on this, even though that we are in the media. But I think we extended. It's another 4-game series, so 2 home, 2 away, I think is what it is. But I can find out and get back to you on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, just along the schedule lines, you guys get these couple non-conference games down in Florida.
Yes.
Get 2 more when you come home, and then get Iowa before you close out your non-conference schedule. What's it like having that game, that opponent specifically, kind of just sandwiched into the meat of your non-conference schedule? Just what's it like does the mindset change at all in terms of preparation for that one?
I think it's just a really tasty sandwich. You know what I mean? Just sandwich in there. No, I mean, I think we don't have any control over who we play in that, that one league game while it's in the midst of the non-conference. Just like everything else, though, I think it's a measuring stick of where you are at that time of the year, right? And so are we and period, is Iowa going to be the same team that we play against each other in December that we are if we, play each other again in the Big Ten tournament, right? No. The answer is no. We're both still continuing to progress. They have a very new cast of characters that they're, getting into the fold, and as do we. So I think for both squads, it's just another opportunity to play a really quality opponent, and for our young players to play, what I think will be an incredible atmosphere here at the Kohl Center. And I'm excited for them to get that opportunity to play against a player like Caitlin Clark, but also to go against an Iowa team that has had a lot of success and, is indicative of where we would like to go as well.
Now, tell you, if you answered, I want to ask you about Kansas State, and I don't know if Sean asked, did he ask you about just kind of get your thoughts on the game? And
a little bit, but I'm happy to give you my thoughts too. I think, we talked a little bit about, the first and third quarters, and had we, played them, we beat them in the second and fourth. So if we played them even, that's a totally different game, right? Turnovers were a killer. We had 20 turnovers in that game. We shot the ball from the free throw line much better than we have been shooting, so I was happy to see an improvement there and for us to get there. We still have got to do a much better job of getting to the offensive rebounds. That's something I think that's been a little bit of an Achilles heel for us this year, and so I'd like to see us continue to try to crash and get us second and third chance opportunities, something that we definitely talked with our team. But it's also about the first time that we've been on the road in what you could say is, I wouldn't say is a hostile environment, but it's definitely a road game they've got really good fan support there. It was loud. And, I thought we did a pretty decent job in the first half defensively. We kept them to 35 points. But it was really our offense and our offensive execution that I was not particularly pleased with. And I think that we are a much better offensive team than we showed. And, I think we struggled with different players struggled on a night that we couldn't necessarily have that many people struggle and still do well. But I think it was a great learning experience for us, and that's really what the non-conference is about.
And one other thing for me, and I apologize because I was handling other work duties at the start of your game.
Oh, that's okay.
So I didn't see the starting lineup, but I saw a graphic that had Sanaya in the starting lineup, and I guess I was wondering kind of what are you hoping she provides you in that role? What are you kind of looking for as you kind of try to tinker and test things?
Well, it was also, that's her homecoming game, right? So once in your 4 years, we try to bring people home. So it was an opportunity. I think she had over 50 people from her family and friends coming to that game. So I think it was an opportunity for her to get a chance to start in an environment that I think is really special. I think she's been playing really well for us. I don't know that was her best showing, but I don't think that's indicative of like where she is as far as with our team. And now that she's getting, she's back healthy and all of that stuff with her ankle, I'm excited about what she's going to be able to provide for us, whether she starts or comes off the bench.